I have some spare time. I normally do during the week have a couple of short sessions available. So I decided that I would like to make use of AI tools such as ChatGPT to turn that into a bit of a challenge that we can use to, change the excitement levels or up the challenge for me when I'm fishing similar areas or areas I've fished before, and I want to, give it a go and try things a little bit different. So what I did is I gave ChatGPT a series of variables on what type of fishing, either soft baiting, live bait, hand lining, all these different things, different areas nearby, so somewhere nice and close that I can get to within a couple of hours maximum. And at the end of it, also try and turn it into some sort of cooking. So what I'm doing is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to randomize that and give me some ideas of what to go and do for the fishing. So let's get that going for today. Here we go. We'll see what random thing comes out. Hey ChatGPT, what's my first random fishing challenge for today?
Got it, Andy. Here's your challenge. All right, here we go. Today's fishing challenge is on. First up, type of fishing. We're using light tackle with soft baits, specifically paddle tails.
Cool.
Next, where to fish. We're heading to the local favorite, Browns Bay Reef. And finally, what to cook. Once we've landed our catch, we're turning it into some delicious fish tacos.
Okay.
Get ready for an action-packed day on the water and a tasty treat to finish it off. Good luck.
Sounds good. Thanks, ChatGPT. We're going to try that first one. That sounds like a good one. I'll go and get some gear together. We'll only take out the soft bait rod today, so I need to re-rig that a little bit. It's got some jigging gear on it. And we will take out a soft bait rod with a couple of paddle tails, so I'll probably take 2 rods. And we're going to go and hit Browns Bay Reef, which in today's weather could be interesting, but the westerlies should allow us to kind of get in there and not be too much of a trouble. And let's see if we can pull out a couple of snapper. These could be very interesting. Nothing like a bit of random fun to give me a go at doing something slightly different. Right, keeping the gear. Oops. Trying to keep gear to a minimum. So, paddle tails. So what counts as a paddle tail? Well, here's a really good example from Caveman. So anything with the sort of squidgy paddle on the end, that tail. So when these guys go in the water, they kind of go vibrate left to right. So got a few different options here. Got a couple of Z-Man little ones, which are great when the anchovies are around. Got some other Z-Mans that I'm going to use. So we'll probably start with tiny little guy, something like that, on a 1/8 on the small soft bait kit, and we'll go for something slightly a bit bigger, maybe these opening night Z-Mans on the larger gear. Let's use a 3/8 with the old centered. We're just preloading these because that's I'd like to get on the water and just start fishing straight away. So like all soft baits, you want to get that first piece through and then twist it, push that up onto its head. Now you got your position of the hook and you just slot that guy in, and if you've done it right, they should happily paddle along. And it's going to be a bit strange for me to go fishing without out all my other gear, but hey, that's why it's a challenge. So yeah, not allowed to use that. Soft bait only, paddle tail only. See if we can get ourselves a nice couple of legal snapper for some fish tacos. I'm gonna do, been thinking about the fish tacos as the challenge. Instead of doing my normal like breadcrumb fish, fresh veggies and all the rest of it, might go sort of more pulled pork styles. See how that plays out with some fish. So just a uni knot to get that guy on. I always loosen my uni knots a little bit afterwards, loosen the loop so it can move a little bit freer. And then using your pliers, not your teeth, tighten that up, tidy that up. That's one rod loaded. And then for this little guy, we really need to run real small hooks. So, my hooks are a mess. Which are these little guys here, which work beauty with it. So, we'll just load one of them up. These sometimes actually just fit better straight loading them rather than doing the double hook. So, if you get your measurement right, yeah, there you go. So that's a beautiful little paddle tail. It's tiny on a 1/8. So you definitely need a good casting rod, you know, a really light line to fire these things around, but they're absolutely killer. Caught some big fish on them, surprisingly. But yeah, certainly when there's anchovies around or small bait fish, the snapper go crazy for them, as well as the trevally and the kahawai. So it's a good 3 species winner. Okay, nicely loaded. Right, get that one on the car and let's get down to Browns Bay. We're going to try and get this done and dusted in a couple of hours. So get in the water, go and chase, paddle quickly to some areas where potentially some fish are holding in the winter time. And see how the paddle tails work. So focus on the paddle tails. Well, that's all I've brought, so that's all I can use. And let's go and get us some snapper for dinner. Yeehaw! See you on the water. Started fishing. There is the occasional good fish in here if you know what you're doing. It should produce some fish for dinner. That's that's the whole point. I'm just going to tow these paddle tails behind me for a little bit. There's a bit of rocks before we head out to the reef. I'm just going to work my way through using the westerly that's coming over the hill here and pushing me out. I'll just use that to sort of drift out. There's a little bit of a channel in between the reef and Browns Bay that can produce fish sometimes as well. Keep an eye on my sounder, see what's around. It's a bit of a cast and keep moving type of scenario today. So we will just keep pushing on and try and find some fish for you, which should be fun. It'll be fun to try out this little challenge and see what it's like next time. It's always interesting having the factors of your fishing out of your control to a certain extent and letting someone else decide. Makes you think a little bit more about what you're doing with your fishing. Sometimes it can be easily overcomplicated with fishing, where you just take out too much gear, take too many things with you, and you end up just doing the same thing and not actually trying out new techniques. So this will be good for forcing me to think a little bit differently about the fishing. And last episode, which you guys should have seen, Also taught me a very good lesson about fishing shallow water. Like some of those fish that were pulling out from the shallows last week was, you know, fish of a lifetime type stuff for many people, and we're in 4, 5, 6 meters of water, so don't be afraid of shallow water. Cruise around the reef and see if we can pull out a snapper prop off the reef. Just playing along the edges here, not deep, it's like 6, 7 meters. Throwing the paddle tail around. I've got the chute out just to slow me down because the wind is, you know, fragmenting pretty quick, about a couple of K an hour, so it's going to make for a bit of a paddle back in. Dragging one paddle tail behind me, casting the other one, sort of going to try and get the most of it, most of the water area covered. There we go. That's a good. It's a good take. That was on the tiny little paddle tail. It's not the biggest fish, but still it was. Oh, actually, she's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Let's have a look. I think we've done our job. We've got our fish. So that was like 20 minutes. Give him a quick measure. He's definitely over 30, but wouldn't mind keeping a bit bigger than that. 33, 34. I reckon with today's weather, we're going to keep it. And he's going to be out my guys. Oh. I think I've got a fish on. Could be in the reef. Good strike in real shallow. And he put me straight into the weed. So, I'm myself, mate. Maybe the fish is still on. Soft bait back, but lost it. Absolutely engulfed that. Oh yeah. That's a good fish. That's what we're after. Yeehaw. just gonna slow paddle these paddle tails up into the reef itself. Try and all sort of sweep on over. Landing and we'll see you back in up. Oh, dinner sorted. Alright, so we've got our smaller of the two snapper. So this one's just a penny, it's a 33 I think it was, centimetre snapper, so not a huge amount of meat on it, but we're going to turn this one into some fish tacos. I've got a little recipe for that that I wanted to try, which is more along the lines of pulled pork than your standard fish taco recipe of breadcrumb fish. So I'll take you through the steps as I go. Smoked paprika, a bit of cumin, yay much, onion powder, chili, ground clove, garlic. I will do 2 garlics again. A little bit of pepper. I'm just using some lemon pepper, which has got salt and pepper. We'll just add a couple of slices into the, rub that half on the back side of it here. As it's cooked with all these spices, and then we use like a braising liquid to just sort of pull the flesh off effectively, like a pulled pork, and then we mix that in with everything. So I'm just going to rub on both sides, so a little bit of olive oil. And there we have it. One fish ready for the oven. We'll stick it in the oven for 20 odd minutes and I'm going to make the braising liquid that goes on the fish. I've got a small chopped up onion with cloves of garlic. Adding our liquids with chicken stock, a cup of orange juice, a quarter of a cup of lime juice. I'm just apple cider vinegar, but I've only got white cider, so I'm going to actually add some apple. A bit of apple in there. A little bit of sweet for salt, but I don't have honey, so I'm going to use golden syrup. I've only got my homemade chili sauce that I'm going to add. That should give it enough. It's looking pretty good. And we can sort out for tacos in a minute. That's our taco mix done. I'll stick that in the oven just to braise down. It's all that's left of that snapper. Some bones and a little bit of skin. Yeah, use it all. Right, we just pulled that out of the oven. It's all looking nice and yummy. We'll take all the meat out and then reduce the sauce down a bit, and then put it back in and turn it into a taco. So we've taken all the meat out and now we're just going to blitz down the sauce. There's our nice taco fish. It's good. I reckon this recipe would work well for a big fish. Maybe cook it a bit slower, a bit lower. I might have overcooked it slightly, so it's a little bit dry. But once we put it back into that braising liquid, it'll be yum. A few little condiments to the side on our taco. So first one is real simple, a little bit of pickled red onion, vinegar, fresh chopped spring onion, some peppers, little red peppers, a quick little guacamole, and then just a little bit of fresh corn. Pan fry that and just char it a little bit. There's my charred corn. Tio Pablo. Just chuck them in the pan for 30 seconds on each side. Nice and soft and charred. There's our fish. There's the sauce reduced down, so I'm just going to mix that together. Kind of all go in. So what we end up with is like a soupy pulled pork effect on the snapper, with apple and all that yum flavour in there. Start with a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of pepper, guacamole, our fish, a bit of pickled onion, some of those beautiful charred corn, a little bit of sour cream full of spring onions, homemade chili sauce. Whoa, this looks good. Right, there we go. Fish taco. Done slightly different to normal fish tacos. This one's a bit more pulled pork styles. Let's see how it tastes. That was really good. So different texture to a normal crumbed one, but absolutely just like eating pulled pork actually. Messy, yummy, spicy. Zing from the different citrus. I have to make that one again. Spot on. Definitely will be making that one again. That's just a 30 centimetre snapper, or 33 in this case. Caught locally. So simple. Yeah, absolutely delicious. Try it out. Let me know. Thanks, Tribe, for joining me on today's weekday quickie challenge at Browns Bay Reef. We had a blast using paddle tails and making some delicious fish tacos. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed the adventure. If you want to see more of these challenges, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future adventures. Until next time, tight lines and happy fishing.